Oh, script. Cool. Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's myself, the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
And I'm not going to edit that beginning part out because it just makes it more fun. And we're behind the camera now. It's me too, Nico Luro. How you doing?
Listen, it's cool. Do you know what it is, guys? We've promised you like a rebirth in many things. Anyone who's watched the last episode of the Ministry podcast is going to be watched or listened is going to hear me say live on the new channel, and it's on silver screen, dudes. It happens. But like it's just one of those stuff. We're reorganizing. We're trying to give you guys sassy intros and all of this stuff. So for now, you'll have a countdown, and the powers that be, being the gentleman on my right, I don't know what it's going to be like for you on your screen, but he is the gentleman on my right. Yeah, is creating some stuff, so we thank you, and I'm producing the music, or I have people producing the music. So there's a lot of exciting stuff coming out for the visual side of any podcast you listen to in the silver screen dude world. And you might hear new intros, because, hey, why should we mix it? Everyone gets the same treatment, even though some may miss the New Age Outlaw intro, but that's a different thing. New Age silver screen dude. Who knows? We may still have me dub it over the intro. We can see what we can do. I'm not putting extra work on you. I'm just saying it's out there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's that. And you know what? Why should you turn back time? Why should you turn back time and edit anything like that? There we go. There's the cheesy segue. There's always one each week, and I've just done it.
AJ.
I had to. It's there. Also, I'm gonna have this remind me to talk to you about Ministry, because I had, believe it or not, a fan request in Ministry world.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
For what?
Oh, screw it. We'll put it out there now. The gentleman's name was Nick, I believe his name is. Yeah, and he's asked us to do a pay-per-view review. So he's like, do you guys have Peacock? I'm like, well, we're still in the UK, so we don't do Peacock, but yes, we do. How can we help you? And yeah, his name is Nick Opalweski. And he's asked us to review SummerSlam 1992, which, again, for two Brits to review the British pay-per-view, I'm all down for.
We can do that.
Yeah. It's coming. I can't promise it's coming straight away, but yeah.
I'm down. Works for me.
Same here. That came in today. So actually, just before I had a chance to screenshot it and send it to you. So breaking news, guys. There you go. We don't have anything from the Silver Screen News family. Okay. So we are here, and we are about to talk top 10 time traveling movies. But before we do, Nico, would you like to tell anyone who's joining us for the very first time what the movie Mount Rushmore is all about?
Sure. So for those of you tuning in for the first time, thank you so much for joining us. If you are new to the YouTube channel, please do hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, do share the video with anyone who may be interested. If you are listening to us on podcasts, you can find us on all podcast platforms, iOS, Android, Spotify, everywhere. We're everywhere. We're in your ears, we're in your face, we're everywhere. If you are listening to us on podcast platform, please do leave a rating. Please do share as well with anyone who you think may be interested. Tell a friend, because helping us grow helps us to deliver more content to you. But how does the movie Mount Rushmore actually work? AJ and I each get assigned a topic. We go our separate ways. We come right back here into recording and deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our individual top 10s. This week,
I go first.
This week, AJ will go first, delivering his bottom three. I will then deliver my bottom three. AJ will deliver his next two. I will deliver my next two. And then we will trade one apiece. If at any time, while we are counting down our individual top 10 list, one person has a movie in a high position, that person will say,
punt.
And we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the high position. Or once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 lists, we will create the movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential diverse must-see movies of the genre, which this week is
films about time travel, or let's say time travel is included. Time is manipulated in one way or another, I think is a fair way. I did try to keep it in the time travel-esque. I've seen, it was interesting. I'll be honest. This all came about when sitting down watching some movies with the missus, and I was like, time travel movies. Nick, what do you think? He's like, I love it. Lock it in. Let's do it. And here, and here we are. Right. So let's not waste any time. In at number 10. Does it deserve to be on the list? I don't know. It's actually been a long time, but I do remember thinking back in the day it was excellent. Of course, I am talking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
This is Keanu Reeves. Bill, is it Bill White? Bill White? I never remember the other guy's name. I do feel bad. You don't know either?
I have a small confession.
You've
I
never
have never
seen
seen this movie.
Do you know what, bro? It's been so long. They were. It was something really cool back in the day, and I appreciate it. It's weird because when you think of it now, you're like, it was really novel. They went into a phone box and they time traveled. Well, so did Doctor Who for seasons upon seasons of TV shows. But they were just these really radical, cool guys who came about. And if I remember rightly, now I might be confusing it with Bogus Adventure, which is number 2. I haven't seen the third film. I believe it's because they have a school project to do and they go back in time to actually interact with said figures they're going to do in the time travel in the history of history of America kind of thing. So they go back to the Civil War, they meet Abraham Lincoln, they do all these kind of cool stuff, and it was just ultra fun. It's been absolutely forever that I've seen it, and I was trying to squeeze it in and I couldn't. Did that overtake my voice? That bike that was just
I still heard you. It's fine.
Okay, cool. But there's no way I could talk time travel and not talk Bill and Ted. Haven't seen the third. I do want to. I just at time just hasn't permitted me to see it. Have you seen the third at all? Which came out?
No, I do want to though, but there's a part of me that I should probably see the other 2 first.
Well, this is it. This is another thing for me. I felt like I needed to revisit the 2 because it's honestly 20 years plus. Like it goes back that far. But great fun nonetheless. So that is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. In at number 9, does it deserve to be at number 9? No, but we've talked about this film so many times I had to bring it up. It had to be included. I am talking Avengers Endgame.
We are saying our first punt.
Okay, no, totally understood. Right. Okay, and then
I'm very happy with you for putting it that low, by the way. Well done.
When you break it down, it had to. There's a way. I mean, as much as it is, there's an obvious number. Number 1, but I had to go that way. In at number 8, one of my. Well, to me it is. We all know if you watch favorite films of the screeners. But anyway, spoiler. Here we go. In at number 8, this actually was through our Jake Gyllenhaal episode that I first saw this film, and I did fall in love with it. I am talking Source Code.
That is my number 9.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Fire away.
Fantastic. So Source Code, what I like about Source Code is, I'm not going to mention it in case it's on your list, but it's a day repeated type film. Very similar. Most people call it a type film. I'm not going to mention it. I think it's obvious. If it's not on your list, we'll announce it later. If not, you'll obviously hear the name, but everyone knows it. Even without seeing the film, they know
it's on my list.
Okay, cool.
Of course.
There's a part of me that was also hesitant with Source Code about it being on the list and a few other films of that nature, because it's like, are you time traveling or are you inadvertently just repeating a day, right? And that's where I was kind of like, it's not essentially time travel by its definition, and what have you?
Yes, it is. Just by a single day. If I travel back 1 minute, I've time traveled.
Well, this is also true. This is also true. But I mean, again, there was also the point of you haven't voluntarily done it. You just happen to be stuck in a certain loop. The Source Code does kind of defy that in the fact that, okay, you are involuntarily doing it. However, it is being forced upon you to do it. And it is basically Jake Gyllenhaal's character is involved in a train crash. Train explosion. And it's happened once and he wakes back up and is like, what is going on? And it keeps repeating until he's starting to see a pattern of the situation, and each time he still can't avoid it, and eventually he starts to find out that he is being sent back in time by someone in order to solve who this terrorist group are that not only caused this explosion but go on to cause further damage along the way. So this is a way to apprehend the criminals. Mm-hmm. What I like about this film more than anything, and it delves not only in time travel but parallel universe, if you would. I don't want to give any spoilers into the film, but it's like anytime you're going to talk time travel, you essentially do spread into the realm of parallel universes, if you would. This is also very fitting because Loki's just finished. Not that I've seen it just yet, the end just yet. I will be knocking that out.
Seriously?
Listen, I wanted to make sure. I wanted to actually cover as many films as I could in this genre before going through, but I'm going to knock it out. Going to watch Black Widow with the nephew first because we kind of promised each other we would watch it. there, so we're gonna sort that out. And yeah, then comes a Loki fest. But yeah, there we are. So in that, I found it very interesting, and Jake delivers as per usual. So I really had a lot of fun with that, and that's where my source code came in. In at number 8, that's my bottom 3.
Yeah, you've covered that quite well. I mean, it's my number 9, but I don't have much to add to it. We've spoken about source code quite a bit before. Listen, it's... Would I put it as one of Jake's best performances? No, but you always get something good with Jake Gyllenhaal. So.
But then it's not one of his worst either. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's not groundbreaking as a movie, but it was... Actually, did it become a number 1 that time? I can't remember. But either way, it's more the concept that caught me than to say you're looking for the world's greatest acting in this film.
Yeah,
you know?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
I love from that film. Yeah, over to you, sir.
Okay, my number 10. Is it a time travel movie? Is it not? I leave that to you guys to decide. But my number 10, I know you like this one, AJ. The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher and Amy Smart.
Do you know why this didn't make the list, right?
Because it's one of those movie, is it not?
Well, it was that, but again, I'll be honest. I remember the first. I saw this film and I really loved the concept, but I was jaded as hell. I was jaded as hell as to what it was. I'm like, I remember it, but I don't want to be unfair. If it wasn't on your list, there was no way I was going to be able to explain it properly. I remember this part, and I was like, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. Before you continue, did you know it's actually become a franchise?
Yeah.
I was aware that there were two extra films after. I'm like, oh, you know what? When I revisit this one, I'll just knock out the trilogy. We'll see what happens. I may regret it. I know none of the others made it into the cinema. I am regret.
I wouldn't. The other two look like direct bargain bin type thing, mate.
I'm sure. But yes, continue.
Look, I like this film a lot. It's the butterfly effect is obviously a butterfly flaps its wings in one place, creates a tornado somewhere else. So it's the theme of cause and effect, and they essentially do a kind of temporal interpolation of that theme in this movie, because it's like, okay, we're going to go with the whole something happens here, something else is created here, but we're going to use this ability to time bend that Ashton Kutcher's got to see if he did this action now, how would he be in 20 years' time? If he did this action now, back in his original timeline, how would he be in 10 years' time? You know? And it's just all sorts of fun. I got a real kick out of how the different timelines played out. I got a real different kick of how fucked up some of them are. And I got a real kick out of these tiny little changes are what really like created such a dramatic effect. So in terms of visualizing this effect of a tiny little butterfly, this tiny little thing can make a massive fuck tornado. It's like, well, yeah. Yeah. No, I really do want to go back and visit it, because I remember having a hell of a time with it, but I was so jaded and I couldn't do Bill and Ted and Butterfly Effect on this complete level of, I kind of remember this film. Yeah. There was a JCVD that also fell into that category. Did that make your list? No, it most certainly did not.
We are talking Time Cop, guys. So anyone who did quote Time Cop, apologies. It didn't make the list.
Stop it.
It's cheesy 90s fun. Accept
it's so cheesy.
Because you can't invent the 90s. Anyway, let's not digress too much. But the 90s is something you couldn't fake. The films were so out there. It was like, you know what? Yeah. In saying that, we did then have the 2000s act release Skyscraper, which is just as bad, if not worse. So I'm like, maybe you can't hate the 90s that much.
That fucking film. This is why I was so shocked when we were watching Money in the Bank and I said Cena has made some movies that are better than The Rock's. Everyone was like, no. I'm like, he really has. He really has. No, The Rock's way better than John Cena. The Rock's a bigger star than John Cena. And yes, big tone, fair play to him, pulled Gridiron Gang, which is a very good movie, but most people don't think of that when they think of The Rock's movies.
Do you know what it is? I think everyone's still at that point where John Cena, I mean, for most people, okay, the thing is, he has done Bumblebee, which I kind of blacked out on.
He's done Bumblebee, and I thought he was quite good in Cock Blockers as the protective dad.
I need to see that film again. I have to be honest.
We're looking for the next American Pie, but it's good fun.
Yeah.
And also, he was quite good in what was it? Trainwreck with Amy Schumer, even though he was only in it for a blink and you'll miss it moment, but he had me laughing.
So I've seen that part, that clip. It was on the Insta, and I was cracking up. I was like, I want to see this film, but I had just never got around to seeing what it was about, you know. But yeah, he was funny in it. He has got good moments, don't get me wrong. But then I think everyone sees him as the cameo guy, and the career's just budded. So it's like, hold on, yes, Rock's done his shit, but you know, like, okay, he was the Marine.
Shit sometimes.
No, there've been some real terrible movies, but hey, you know. One doesn't speak bad of the great one, do they? I think that's why everyone's defenses jump up.
One speaks bad of the Tooth Fairy. I'll tell you that much. Good God.
I'm waiting for John's one. We've had the Tooth Fairy. Vin done the pacifier. I'm waiting for John's cheese fest of trying to appeal to kids.
Easter Bunny.
Yeah, I can actually see him as the Easter Bunny as well.
Just a big buff bunny. Yeah, anyway, so my number 9 was Source Code. My number 8, listen, it's from a franchise which the movies I'm not a fan of, the books I am, but this is definitely from my favorite book, and it's hands down my favorite of the movies. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Nearly made the list for me, actually. It nearly did make the list. It did cross.
It has to. It's really the most accomplished of the Harry Potter films. It balanced everything perfectly between the kind of kiddie element of the first two, which was needed not just because of Harry's age, but because of the fact that you are literally trying to be brought into this realm of magic. And I still say to this day, the first movie really captures the magic side of things better than any of the other movies do. It's void in terms of any type of character arc or dramatic plot point. But in terms of creating the world and showing, hey, look, magic, I think the first one's a resounding success.
Yeah, for sure.
The third kept elements of that, and it got dark, and it also elevated the fucking acting. Oh my God. I know Daniel Radcliffe, he still sucks to this day. He sucks. He absolutely sucks. He is the worst ever millionaire. Just ever. He is. Why are you a millionaire? My father was the casting director. Fair play to daddy for making his son make that cheddar rain. Can the guy act? No. Still no. Even in some of his more recent movies, like Escape from Pretoria, I'm like, you still suck. You're still not good. Woman in Black, you still suck. Guns Akimbo, his new one on Amazon Prime. Ooh. Oh God. Like, the kid's not good. He's really not good. He is a box office jewel because he played Harry Potter.
That is the thing. I'll be honest.
Hey, Harry Potter's in our movie. That's literally the draw. He is not a good actor. Has he got better? Yes, sure. But, you know, polish a turd long enough, it may shine, but it's still a turd.
I hear you. Bro, just give me 1 second. I'm not sure it's an emergency call.
No, please don't do this to me. You're going to make me edit it out, aren't you?
Keep going.
Allow that. Please don't.
I was just hoping it's an emergency.
Text while we go if you need. But please allow me having to edit this, please. What was I saying? Yeah, this one, not only did it keep the magic, but my God, did the acting get elevated. Not just because of the likes of Gary Oldman, who was so good as Sirius Black, but also because of people like David Thewlis, who plays the best Hogwarts professor, Remus Lupin. Just, it expanded the world, not in terms of magic, it expanded the world in terms of character. That's what was so cool about this one. Everything in it was good. You know, you got to see these fabled prisoners of Azkaban. You got to see, it was the first time people like Bellatrix Lestrange were properly referenced. You know, you had a real other side of this magical world. It's like, yeah, we've shown you all the cute stuff now. And yeah, he who must not be named is always, you know, in the stratosphere of magic. But there's some more people going on here. People Pettigrew, Remus Lupin, Sirius Black. There was more characters brought in that added depth to the world. And just the time travel in this is brilliant. Of course, it's magical. And of course, the rules of time travel apply. Do not see yourself when you go back. Like, And what I loved about this one is that throughout the whole movie, it's there in your face without you realizing it. You know, constantly with Ron turning over to Hermione. She wasn't here a minute ago. How did she do that?
Yeah.
And the way they're constantly wondering, like, Hermione, how many classes have you taken this year? How are you physically getting to all of them? It's like, And also, I'd like to say, R.I.P. to the late, great Richard Harris, who was Dumbledore in the first two movies. I think Michael Gambon did a damn good job of taking on the role.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It was tough boots to fill, but he did.
Really tough boots to fill. I still see Richard Harris when I see Dumbledore. I thought he was an even better fit than Michael Gambon, but Gambon was good.
Yeah. It just, the image had all been portrayed in such a way, and if there's one thing that, okay, yes, how did Harry fall into the category? But it was like each character really fit the persona. If there's one thing Harry Potter had done right, the casting compared to the books, it visually meshed. Everyone fell into
brunette kid with glasses. It could have been anyone.
No, but you get what I'm saying. Anyone that you saw on screen, you didn't actually think to yourself, that's different to how I pictured it. Everyone fell into that spot, if you would. And I think that
was Ron, I'll give you that. Although I'll say this, I saw the first movie before I ever read a single book. Then I saw the first movie and I was like, this isn't actually that bad. And then I went and smashed out all the books. Prior to that first movie, I was like, no, fuck this. This is beta Lord of the Rings. It still is beta Lord of the Rings.
I was going to say
beta Lord of the Rings.
I was going to say something for banter, but I know I got slaughtered on.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
I won't. I respect that world too much.
What, the Harry Potter world or the Lord of the Rings world?
The other world that I was going to bring up when you quoted beta Lord of the Rings. And I thought, no, I shan't. Their community is strong.
Don't bring that on yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not doing that again. I am not doing that again.
I know. Bad idea. Right, yeah. Over to number 7.
Right. For number 7, at number 7 for me, you mentioned this the other day. And for some reason, I thought I'd seen it. And then as the more you described it, I realized I hadn't. I am talking Looper.
Oh, hold that noise, my friend, because that is a punt.
Okay, so that was my number 7. And in at number 6 is the film that I saw the inspiration for it. You saw it last time. I ran over to BBC iPlayer this time. Once again, I'm talking Bruce Willis. We are talking 12 Monkeys.
Run with it, my friend. All yours. I went last week. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, I was actually really happy I got a chance to see it because basically La Jetée being the inspiration to this film was all of 28 minutes. This film is moving stills. I got to expand on the story. Obviously, I knew what the end was, but to really see the issue of someone who's time traveling, someone who's trying to save the world and is seen as an absolute nut. So much so that, I was going to say something, I'm not going to go into a spoiler territory there, but it's so much so that the questions do start to come out of, who is actually crazy? What is actually real here? Who is actually that person? Even for me, I'm like, they can't change the end. You can't change the end. That end is so instrumental. It doesn't make sense to change that end. And I was like, but they had me questioning it throughout because I was like, did they? No. Are they going to do a Hollywood? Like I was literally thinking, are they doing a Hollywood? I know the director was of UK fame, but I was still like, no, they won't. It was a damn good film. I had a really good journey with that. Brad Pitt as a very unstable character.
So good, right?
Yeah. It was, every element to it had me just sitting there, and I was like, this is nice. This is good. As I said, when you see a half-hour excerpt, and then you're like, okay, now you could put some flesh on the bone. That's exactly what that done. Really gave something. So we are talking time travel in order to save the world from a deadly virus, not the one that's out there at the moment, but hey, Freedom Day, by the way, happy Freedom Day. It's how do you stop it? Who are the infamous 12 monkeys? How do you stop it? And it's little grains of information that prove it's real, but I still don't believe this guy. How could you be telling me that we meet in 1990? You tell me you're meant to, that 1996 is the future, but it's still your past, and you're telling it all doesn't fall into place, and you're like, what? And how it all meshed together, I was really impressed. I thought it was a great film.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I was lyrical about it last week, so I'm not going to go nuts this week.
No problem. And so that was my number 6. So back over to you.
Right, my number 7 is one I mean, it's a favorite of the channel and of the podcast. I actually rewatched it as my Money in the Bank come down. That makes sense.
Why not? Why not?
And you know what? It still made me laugh out loud because in at number 7, Oh Behave, I'm bringing in Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah, baby, yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah.
I am a bit hazy, and this is something I was going to go through with the missus recently. Yeah. All right, we've both talked. We both know Endgame's there. Is this not a bit of a Captain America? Was he not frozen and then come through?
No.
Or am I thinking more Demolition Man? Like, there is actual time travel that's taking place.
No, there's actual time travel.
Okay,
Dr. Evil literally invents a time
machine. Yes, of course. Yeah. Apologies. This is why I have to revisit them.
It made me so happy seeing Mini-Me. Ah!
Oh, R.I.P. Vern, man.
R.I.P. to that little man. God, he was such fun. Just they couldn't get away with making a movie like this anymore. It just takes the liberties with crass humor that I think personally needs to come back now and then, just because there is something healthy about the collective having a laugh together.
But the world is too sensitive for this stuff now.
Yeah.
Everything will be offensive. How dare they shoot rockets from their bras? That's
exactly where I was going to go. That was going to be my first thing.
And then you're going to get the other humor. And then, again, I'm not...
The fat shaming of fat bastard.
Yeah, the fat shaming. Oh, look, they're making a joke out of it to look like two men are having sex. They're homophobic. It's not. It's just humor. It's misunderstanding. The same way that if a homosexual man and a woman were caught in a silhouette and you'd be like, what's he doing? And we can all laugh at that because it looks naughty. It's not what or who we're targeting. It's the naughtiness behind it. And I don't even need to air quote it because it is straight naughtiness we're laughing at. It doesn't... Exactly. Yeah, no, it's humor. It's humor. And I do have the trilogy, and it's something I can't remember which one. Yeah, she hadn't seen one of the... I think she hasn't seen the third or something. I'm like, look, let's just do all three.
It's the weakest. The second...
It's the weakest, but... We just need to, if you're going to do Austin Powers, you have to do it all, baby.
You do. It is. Do you know what? The first act is so good. So good. The second act is weak because I went into this, especially while I was watching the first act out, I was like, this is going to be high for me because I was laughing nonstop. Even that opening montage. When he's running through the hotel and he's butt naked and they're doing every single thing they can imagine to
yes, in
the face of his penis so you never see the penis. Even when he goes up to the dude Jewish guys and there's that long piece of brisket which they cut up and he's like, oh, yes, very nice. It's fucking liberties of the highest degree. I love it. The second act is weird and it didn't have me laughing so much because you had like 2 or 3 simultaneous like love stories going on at the same time, and each time it would cut, it was like love story, cut to love story, cut to love story. It's like, can we get on with it, please?
Yeah, I hate that sometimes. Sometimes they try to put again flesh on the bone, but it gets too meaty that you just kind of need to be near the bone sometimes. So it's like, they've commissioned us for 2 hours. This is an hour and a half. What do we do? Like, no, just bloody make it an hour and a half and let me laugh.
Like, the explanation of where Scotty Evil comes from wasn't necessary. It's like Dr. Evil drinks the mojo, shags Farfina's head. It's such a good character. 3, 2, 1. Okay, maybe Frau, wait until we are sat in the chair. Maybe do a 30 countdown, yes? 30, 29, 20. How about when the door closes, just say go. Go! Even dumb shit like that had me laughing. Oh man, when the chair gets possessed because I want an old horse and a young horse. The power of Christ compels you. What? Having Tim Robbins to play the president. $100 billion. Dr. Evil, this is 1969. $100 billion doesn't even exist. with this
Yeah, I
jacket.
remember that. Yeah, because it was the flipping room.
Oh, Mini-Me, man, he's so funny. Mini-Me, stop humping the laser. And when he takes his little mini cat and he's like, no, we don't eat our mini Mr. Bigglesworth. We just love him and stroke him. It's brilliant, man. Top to bottom. Well, first act and third act, I was back in the 90s. It had me in absolute stitches.
Well played. Well played.
Second act is weak.
Cool.
All right, my number 6. Less shagadelic, but still a lot of fun. It's the movie you were referencing earlier. I've got to bring in Bill Murray and Andy McDowell in Groundhog Day, because how can you not when you're talking about a time travel?
I mean, it's not actually a name of a film, but to me, this is a time loop. You're caught in a time loop, which again is time travel in some form of its own. But I was like kind of torn, and then I was like, well, I've got source code, I don't need to. But let's be honest, if you're going to talk about something of a day repeating, this is the one. No matter what film you bring up, there may be another one that may be on your list. Mm-hmm. People just say, the Groundhog Day movie. They're in a Groundhog Day. Anything that, if your day happens twice, it's Groundhog Day. Even no matter what it is, no matter what the film is, it could be action, it could be all guns blazing, it could be the world's biggest drama. Your Groundhog Day. I watched one on Netflix. Have you got one with Robbie Amell on your list?
No.
Ark. Yeah. They were Groundhog Day to me. Like, I was like, that's what's happening. He keeps coming back, he's Groundhog Day. So yeah.
We've brought up Groundhog Day a lot. Look, it's the story of Bill Murray, who is a serious, up himself, narcissist TV reporter, thinks he's better than everyone else, and he gets caught in this time loop. And he has, while he initially uses his new quote-unquote power for evil, robbing, doing getaways, stealing candy, all the above, trying to seduce women, all the above. It's blameless. It's a blameless crime because it just resets. Then he realizes that he cannot choose to not be a dick. Yeah. And, you go through the interesting character arc of his on-again, off-again relationship with Andy McDowell. What's really cool is when he's almost got her, then the clock resets, and then he just rushes on the next day. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, no, what are you doing? It's cool, man. It's really, really cool. It's as you said.
As you said, it's part of the crime. It's when he does rob the bank. the van is like the way it's so well precisioned. He knows exactly what's going. I was laughing at that. That was one of my golden moments.
You have to. What's your number 5?
Right, my number 5 again. Funny enough, I just quoted the one of Netflix. This is another one that is on Netflix. Came out 2019, I believe. It's called See You Yesterday, which has been produced by Spike Lee.
Oh,
yeah. I was actually. Some likened it to a film that will come later on in time, but I was really intrigued by this film. So it actually also falls under like your Black Lives Matter, so it's like a mainly all black cast and what have you. The two actors I have not seen in my life. She's got an older brother in the character, the main star of the film. Her name's CJ. Her older brother apparently was in like American Idol, but I've never stopped to watch this stuff, so I couldn't even tell you who he is or anything like that. I'm just trying to catch the cast and what have you. But basically, the two characters, apologies to anyone who's not on pod, but here's a good excuse for you to skip on over to 33 minutes down the road. These two main characters are your protagonists of the film. They are the two that we follow, and they're in school, they're very geeky. There is a cameo from someone that just tells you it's got the nod of approval for time travel. I won't say who, right? But he's in there. There's a few in there. Even if it was down to that film, there were two people from that could give you the seal of approval.
Is he shaky?
It's that guy, yeah. And he's their teacher who hears the concept of time travel from them. And basically, part of their science project is that they're trying to convey time travel. So you see the experiments where they're trying to do it. And what happens is CJ is also, as well as being really smart, she is a bit of a hothead. So in the beginning of the film, you see her in a store. They're getting some slushies, and she has an argument with an ex, and then her brother comes in to defend her, and she actually gets really upset about her brother. Oh, that's quite misogynistic of you. He's like, it's not to do with male or female. I'm seeing my little sister in trouble. you know.
Right.
And then there's a big argument in the road, and then you get the police turning up, you know, and you've realised that the brother's done crime before, and it's a kind of he can get a strike, and then it's quite true to life with all that's happened with like Mr. Floyd and whatnot, because they pull out the phones, like we're recording. Yeah. Oh, you want an explanation for my brother? Do you want to explain why this guy was killed? You know, without any witnesses. All of this happens, and then what happens is they actually do manage to time travel, and in the time travel, she time travels. They go back a day, so they're reliving everything that was done.
In the time travel, she time travels.
Sorry, I didn't even realize they said that. In the journey, they've gone back
again, please.
Yeah, I will time travel now. So as they discover the art of time travel and how to try time travel, they go back a day, right? So they're reliving the same scenario that I've just told you happened. You know, the argument with the brother. But now, because CJ has a chance to exact revenge on the ex that pissed her off, she exacts her revenge, but that now has changed the course of what happens, and her brother dies at the hands of police brutality. So now she wants to go back again to try and save her brother's life. But as in all time travel films, you have the element of when you mess with time, even though you fix one thing, something else will go wrong. And it's a matter of, should you have touched it? Should you touch it, or do you just leave it? And that's the final question you get with this film. I'd say it had me at a point that I've never so much in the film gone, like, it had me. It was one of those moments at the end of the film that I was like, okay, but I'm not, you know, as I said, it's real young amateur actors. What was really nice for me as well, it had that strong Caribbean connection, even though it's set in America, in New York, I believe. You've got those who've got the Guyanese ancestry, so some of the grandparents are giving it a bit of a twang and stuff like that. It was a really cool film. I think it's an hour and a half. It was, you know, easy watch, nice little easy watch.
From what you've described, I'm not surprised that this is produced by Spike Lee. This sounds very much in his ballpark.
Yeah. But you know what? I enjoy Spike Lee, but I'm not the biggest fan. This one, I have no complaints of it. Like,
have you seen Black Klansman?
I will come back to that. So let's move on before you tell me off.
Have you seen Malcolm X?
Yes. As I said, I didn't say I hate his films. I said not all of his films. Like Do the Right Thing wasn't for me.
How the fuck have you not seen Black Klansman yet?
Just leave it. When you time scale forward, we'll do it. We're ticking off boxes, man. I just said I've seen Looper and 12 Monkeys.
You've had 3 years. I mean, to be fair, it took you how long to see fucking Braveheart Gladiator? So
and Leave It Alone, and on top of that, you know, I've had 3 years, but I've had a 2-year relationship. Well, yeah. So
is it coming up for 2 years?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We've still got like 2 months to go, but we're getting there.
Oh, bro, you're on track.
Bro, exactly. And it's the sacrifices you make. It's like, so, you need to watch all of these for a podcast. Oh, now you have to catch up on this. When do I get to watch my film? So, yeah, you know, it's a balance, people. It's a balance.
Have a Coke and a smile, shut the fuck up and enjoy the MCU.
Which she did. Did. Exactly.
So that was your number 5, yes?
Yeah.
Right, my number 5 was the punt from earlier, Looper, with Bruce Willis, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Emily Blunt. I love this film. Love this film.
Again, I hope those of you who went on pod and skipped over to 33 minutes have stayed on, because I actually preferred your poster to my poster. I think that's a really cool poster for Looper, actually.
This one, it's all sorts of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, all sorts of cool.
It's really cool. It's even got the little Thanos disintegration on it.
Yeah.
Before Thanos was a thing. In cinema, obviously.
In cinema.
The Ganesha, actually, Thanos is around. It's like, calm down.
Breathe.
Innit, breathe. Big time breathe. No, Looper, I love the idea behind this. I love the world that's been built. I love the pacing of this film. I love the idea that this man is essentially it breaks a lot of time travel conventions, because, you know, one of the big rules which I've already raised in Harry Potter, and which they even raise in what I'm sure your number 1 is, you know, don't see yourself or someone who could change your timeline. This movie's like, nah, fuck that. Make it about yourself.
Do you know what I loved as well was the restaurant scene where it's like, we could discuss all the rules of time travels, and then we'll have straws, but we don't have time for that. Like, yeah. I like the way they broke that down. It's like, this is our rules of time travel.
And it's just, they've taken things which we can relate to in our day, you know, cartel crime syndicates, drugs, people being paid to, you know, murder for hire, essentially. All of these dark, twisted things that exist in our time. And they've kind of almost, for lack of a better word, rebranded them. Like the way they take drugs, it's now droplets in the eye. The way they get paid, it's like someone from the future sends you money back. And sends your marks back to you. And it's just like, this is a really good novel idea. It loses me a little bit with the way the Rainmaker becomes the Rainmaker, because power of love. And it's like, yeah, Emily Blunt's trying to protect her little boy, but he's a bad motherfucker. And it's like, no, but I believe in power of love to say
that Rainmaker is very much the point of, I'm not attacking this villain in history as the key one, but it's always the question that people always say. If you could go back and stop Hitler, would you?
Yes.
Right? He was the ultimate visual representation of should you. And it kind of shows as well. It's where everyone says, oh, sweet and innocent. This one was a bit like, he ain't sweet and innocent. He messed up from early. Early.
And you can see it there.
Yeah.
It's all there to be seen. But yeah, it's fucking great. And the way that, you know, the plot unravels at the end, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but I really, really recommend people see this film because it is so well put together. And it just shows that Rian Johnson is a good director, despite what all of that. Rian Johnson's not good. He ruined Star Wars. No, Rian Johnson is a fucking good director.
Can I just be honest? If the opportunity ever comes to you, don't time travel with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I know.
That's one thing I learned this week. Yeah.
Who's your number 4? What's your number 4? Brother?
In at number 4, we're going international. Of course, we are talking Liv Visiter.
I left this one off specifically because I knew you would do it service.
I actually forgot about it till last minute. I was like, oh my
very
God.
good.
How did I forget that? Like, we could have done the biggest crime to French comedy by not having that, and French time travel by not including this film.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are like Les Visiteurs, you may have come across a film called Just Visiting, which mirrors but doesn't capture the magic of Les Visiteurs. It's better than the transition of Taxi. I'm not going to go into that. I love
or Dinner for Schmucks, Dîner des Cons.
Yeah. Both of those have fallen short of the original French. This one was a good mirror. It's the closest representation of any film I've seen in terms of remake.
Jean Reno reprises his role, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Jean Reno he comes back, and it's all about medieval times and knights and queens and witches and wars of strife. And basically, they capture a witch, Jean Reno and his sidekick. Oh my God, why is his name gone blank? I can't remember his name. Christophe. Oh, let me see if his name's on the poster.
Christian Clavier.
Christian Clavier, that's the one. Thank you. I was squinting there. My God, 1985 eyes. But yeah, Christian Clavier, and the witch actually gives them a potion that makes them. Does she give them? Someone time travels, and then they have to time travel back, don't they?
Bro, this is on you. This has been you're asking me to pull for some deep.
I know, but anyway, long story short, the witch has done something that causes them to time travel, and they end up way into the future. So we're going from medieval times, and now they went to, at the time, our time. So it was like 1993, and imagine medieval people who are kind of like 4 in the first one was like, I need your finest horse. It's like, this is all of those adapting. they are, everything looks like witchcraft. They're seeing TVs, they're seeing characters of the TV, they're seeing the electronic horse and all of that. And it's adapting and trying to convince people. And obviously there are pictures, and you can realize he looks like the old uncle, but now it's like, oh, Uncle Good Night is he's a bit loopy. Like, we've always known him to be a bit out there, but now I can see he's definitely lost it. Why does he think he's a medieval knight? Obviously, that's just ancestry that makes them all look alike. And it's just a quest to get back to their own time and correct the wrongs that have been executed in time. It is a bit of a hazy one, as I said. I probably would have rewatched it had I remembered it in time, but there was no way I was leaving it off, and I remember having a whale of a time, and that's why it's in at number 4.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, over to my number 4. This is the other punt from
Do you know what? It's so hot outside. I want to close like even my double glazing.
No,
but I'm scared I will
Don't
faint.
do that. No, don't do that. Don't do that to
It
yourself.
might be a one-man pod. So
yeah, exactly. Do not do that to yourself, or you're going to be taking this into the bath.
Literally, like,
right here. No, my number 4 is the pun from earlier. It's a favorite here at the channel and at the podcast. Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, no.
Of course, this was going to be on.
It had to be. It had to be. Can I also be honest? Yes, that was the punt from there. Can I also be honest? This was the film we were watching, and I was like, bro, we haven't done a time travel movie. It was Endgame that hit me off, and I was like, no, we should do this. And it locked it. Now, there were 2 reasons why it was my number. Where did I put it? 8. 9. 1, because we've done this. We've done Avengers. Even just last week, we bloody done Infinity War. But guess what? The week after, we've done the sequel. But then the other side of it is, it was, yes, time travel's key in it. There's no way you can remove the time travel, but it's the action. You want to know how you defeat Thanos, and that was the key to the film. So that was my 2 reasons behind it. But yeah, I mean, it's your much higher for you. We've said it all, I'm sure.
I hesitated really because it was a toss-up between this and the movie, which I actually prefer. Not that your missus agrees with me, but Doctor Strange, that was another time travel one I could have gone for.
I toyed with it. But then it's Dormammu's Groundhog Day. Essentially.
I love it. I think that's one. How do you beat him? You can't be beaten. Make him go insane.
Yeah. You make him give up on
himself. All day long. This shit's on reset, bitch. Fuck you. You gonna relive this.
Dormammu.
I'm gonna die again and again, but you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be trapped.
You can't defeat me. You're right, but I will keep on losing. Absolute gold.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I love Doctor Strange, but Avengers Endgame is the one I picked. It's the more popular. I do like the story that permeates throughout. For fuck's sake, who's calling me now? No, you must. People know I'm. No, someone trying to call me, and it's like, no, you will stop. You know I'm recording now. Bro, what more can we say about Endgame at this point that we haven't said already?
Again, do you know what it is, right? This brings together all the Infinity Stones. So then even the elements of Doctor Strange that you want to talk about are included in this, right? It also answers some of the questions. It tells you why the normal laws of a time travel film should be avoided and doesn't make sense. It also tells you what happens and how it creates alternate timelines and realities by doing it. So it challenges all different areas of time travel while still being its own film with a general purpose in itself, and it's it's the most unselfish form of time travel as well. Like they just had to correct a wrong, and that was it. Like it wasn't they could have gone a million ways, but they chose what they wanted to.
Unselfish time travel, which is why the post-credit scene in Black Widow sucks.
Yes. Just too late. Because anyway, we proceed.
Hey, we're gonna fight. How could we avoid fighting? 2-minute conversation.
Hawkeye's going to be a very short film.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
What's your number 3?
Jake Gyllenhaal is back one more time. There's no way I couldn't bring this film in. Donnie Darko.
Small
Fair
punt.
Fair enough.
Punt. Donnie Darko, my friend. My number 3, I have a feeling you won't have brought it in. Why? I don't know. You've seen it now. I know this, and it is so fucking good. It's got 3 titles. All You Need Is Kill, Live, Die, Repeat, or my personal favorite, Edge of Tomorrow, with Tom Cruise and once again Emily Blunt.
Another time traveler. Nah, bro. I toyed with it, but then again, by me running on that rule that I did of Groundhog Day and it being a time loop as opposed to time travel, I kind of held back. That was my key reason behind it. Was it on my list? Yes, and I broke down why did source code do it, because of a small variant at the end was the only reason.
Between source code, Groundhog Day, and Edge of Tomorrow, all of which have been on my list as clearly demonstrated by placement of the movies, this movie is hands down my favorite. This movie does Groundhog's Day better than Groundhog's Day. I love this film. This, for me, is one of the most fucking underappreciated movies ever. Ever. I don't say that lightly. The fact that people are still being told, you need to go and see this fucking thing. And all the people who have seen it, I have never to this day met anyone who said, I didn't really like Edge of Tomorrow. It's like, how? It's not possible to not like this movie. It's well acted. It's well paced. It's a familiar Groundhog Day thing, which we all love, unless you're a fucking hippy-dippy Shoreditch wanker. And even then, I find it hard-pressed for you to not fucking enjoy Edge of Tomorrow. Just go have your smashed avocado and poached egg while walking your little chihuahua, wankers. Sorry.
Fair enough. No, it's a great film. It's a great film. I have no.
It really is, and the fucking way that aliens are designed is so cool. The mimics are such a badass alien force. Like that, it's so hard to do alien creations now and make them look original. This, I was like, okay, this is something I haven't seen before. This is cool. Really into this. And it's like, what do we do with our super soldiers? We put them in mechs. It's like, oh yeah, so we talking big mechs like Pacific Rim? No. Just a little bit bigger than humans. Think the compactor from the end of Alien 2. Oh, this I like. So it's like the ending of Aliens or Alien 2 for a whole movie. Yes, I would like to see that movie.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Oh, and we got Groundhog's Day in there too. Yes. Okay, I definitely want to see this. Also, Emily Blunt is such a fucking badass in this film.
I have a lot of appreciation for Emily Blunt. I tell you, the more I see the different films of her, the more I'm like, yeah, your diversity is awesome.
Bro, she's so good. Yeah. She's so fucking good. She is a national treasure.
Indeed. I concur.
Your number 2?
Do you know, I actually didn't even want to put this on the list, but here it is in number 2. No, bro, it's fucking awesome. It's one of my favorites, but that's why I didn't want it in the list. Come with me if you want to live. Terminator 2.
I love you, star, baby. I'll tell you this. When I put the question out on Twitter, no movie came up more than this.
Really?
Wow. Everyone pulled Terminator. Fucking everyone pulled Terminator.
It was one of those things that you just can't, it's really, we always say it, Terminator 1 gives you the obvious history. It gives John's dad, who I really couldn't even give a toss what his name is. He's that irrelevant to me.
Show some love to Michael Biehn. Come on.
What's his name?
Don't know. It's not the point.
Right. Okay. If I'm going to be wrong, prove me wrong. But the history of that film is a man who comes back in time in order to create his son who will save the world, and then there's this killing robot on his tracks to eliminate the mother of the world savior.
I love the way you just broke down the story of Terminator. Man sent back in time to create his son. Hey yo, what's your job? What are we sending you back in time for? The fuck, motherfucker.
Let's be real. Even when you look at Terminator, and again, I've watched Terminator 2 so many times.
Yes.
Terminator 1 is not as. I think I've seen it once because I had to see it, kind of thing. It was a kind of. I don't even think Sarah believes him when he's like, "I'm from the future and I need you to." Like, you're like, "What? Okay, nice play, pal." But either way, it's worked and our savior is conceived. But in Terminator 2, the world has spun. The same villain that was out to destroy is now out to protect. It's not the exact same one. It's just that if you have. Just like there are 10,000 iPhones 11s out there, there is a conveyor belt line of T800s out there. And this one has been programmed by John and is not of the Skynet evil. And now it's to take down Skynet as opposed to stopping John from being born. John is now in his teens and it's just this big mission while the T1000 is out to stop.
Annoying, squirming Edward Furlong. No, you can't.
We have to appreciate Ed. Otherwise, Hasta La Vista, baby would have been nothing.
Listen, I like him. I'm on the small island with you of people who actually liked him in this film.
I don't have a beef with him.
He is hated. Like, people actually say fuck Terminator 2 because of him.
Oh, you losers! Get over yourselves. Whoever
really.
you are, whoever you are.
My dad.
Oh, how dare? Yeah, exactly.
My dad. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, sorry. You know,
Man,
sorry.
like exactly, like fuck you.
No. Do you know? I thought you said the dad. I thought you meant John Connor's dad from Terminator 1. Like,
No.
I should
Legitimately, my dad hates Terminator 2 because of Edward Furlong. I wasn't pulling like random facts out. This is real. This is first-hand experience.
Thanks,
I
man.
still think, you get me? I still think like,
Thanks.
nah. I'm like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's one of the greatest fucking action films ever made. Look past the bad.
I have
God,
so
it
much
annoys me
respect for
too
your
much.
dad, but on the other side, I think this is week 1. Well, this is the second time. I don't know if it's 2 weeks in a row that he's kind of hit me with that. Like, he's like, I give no time to the Marvel movies, and now he's like, I hate Terminator 2 because of John Connor. Like, it's John Connor. Okay. Yeah. No, it's Terminator 2, man. And again, do you know what really sold it to me? It's like everyone knows when we done the Silver Screen Dude's favorite movies, this was in the list. So I tried very hard to be like, okay, guys, it's eliminated. And I'm like, who are you fooling? And then life also gets in the way that you can't squeeze in as many films as you would like to in a week. So, yeah, you just have to be real.
Fair.
Yeah.
Right. I left it off, as you can tell, because I didn't say it's my number 2 and I didn't pun for it, just on the basis that this movie has been done to death. Like, it's been done so much. That's why I left it off. But I knew, I had a feeling you'd pull it. It's there. It's valid. It's valid as fuck. I get it. My number 2, the punt from a moment ago, Jake Gyllenhaal, Donnie Darko.
Nice.
One of my top 10 of all time. I adore this film. Absolutely adore this film. I love what you and me have always said this. What is Donnie Darko about? It's everything. It's got elements of horror. It's got elements of sci-fi. It's got elements of theology. It's got elements of Zoroastrianism. It's got elements of teen comedy. It's got elements of teen horror. It's got elements of coming of age. It's got drama. It's got thriller. This movie has got fucking everything.
Yeah. You know, what also strikes me with Donnie Darko, and it's the way it's played in, is that it's not the most on the nose time travel film you will come across. It's intertwined in such a way that it even questions if it really was. And you know, okay, I'm not going to spoil anything for those who may not have seen it because it's one of those cult films. Let's be honest, but yeah, the way it's intertwined, it is the most weirdest way you can ever show time travel in a movie, but done so perfectly.
At this point, I'd actually argue that it's the cult movie. Because I don't know another film which just flew under everyone's radar so hard, and then people like had this fucking Darko awakening, like, "Oh, this is good." It's like, yeah, it's
the
really
only other one I think that could possibly trump it would be Fight Club. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, it's the only one. Like, but in terms of cult, it's as culty as it gets, man. But so, I mean, it deserves its following.
Oh, bro, and the explanation of everything, and what I love about this. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it. Every time you go back, you'll find a new little nuance and a new little plot point that you hadn't necessarily focused on before. Like, yeah, this movie's not about time travel in the traditional sense, but when it goes time travel, it throws the kitchen sink at you. It's like,
but everything just makes sense, and it's like, wow. And you know, but again, do you know what? It even tells you it's kind of like time travel meets parallel universe. Again, I will say they mesh, but this is the ultimate mesh of the questions. And the thing is, again, I can talk about something like maybe The Ark, maybe like See You Yesterday, and other films that kind of have you on a question. Yeah, even if you want to do Infinity War, there are questions. Yeah, this one gives you a definitive ending, but still leaves you with all the questions.
Right.
And that's what I love about this film. It's a masterpiece. Again, this is another one.
Like any good form of art, actually, you don't get a lot in cinema, even with great movies. It's so unique even in that way. I'm almost I am contradicting myself. You can interpret that ending in so many fucking ways.
100 ways. 100 ways.
And they're all correct.
Yeah.
Like, there are things throughout that movie that give it so many valid endings. There is no one definitive answer.
No. And again, very similar to the Butterfly Effect, there is a sequel that I just don't know if I... Have you watched it?
Not going near it.
I feel... It's one of those things that there might be this cult following, but it's really people who are just trying to beg it, I feel. And that's what scares me about watching it. I feel like you will piss me off that you tried to even link this to Donnie. You know, that's what bugs me with this film.
Yeah.
There's a chance it could be secretly awesome, but everyone's on the same train. But, who knows?
I suppose actually you're right. I shouldn't really fucking... maybe I'll watch it.
It's
Really
scary,
don't.
It's scary, though. Do you know what I think I would do, though? I think I would watch it first and then watch Donnie again. Just in case it's bad, I can redeem it and erase it.
Donnie's never being moved for me. It's one of my top 10.
But you get what I'm trying to say. In the vein of, oh my God, how dare that be the franchise? I'll watch you first and then I'll go back and just re-enjoy it. Because I believe Donnie was even on my top 10. It's all kinds of awesome.
It wasn't. The only top 10 we had in similar was American History X.
Damn. Well played then. He must be 11. Anyway.
He's your La La Land.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. What's your worst?
I was a bit cheeky and I've done 2.
That's twice in a week. Okay, but go on.
They're for 2 different reasons.
Okay.
One, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
Okay.
Have you heard of it or seen that film?
I mean, it's Mamoru Hosoda. Is that a Studio Ghibli production or not?
I couldn't tell you who made it, to be honest with you. I just found that it was mentioned in so many different categories that when I was searching to find films, I thought I was really going to enjoy this. The concept behind why the time travel came about just meant absolutely nothing to me. Okay. There was this whole concept of appreciating the level of time travel, because it's all about a girl who essentially in the beginning of the film dies. She shows you, we see her get hit by a train, and then she's back at home, and then she realizes she can time travel. Then she goes to her aunt about it. Her aunt, especially because I didn't watch it dubbed. I watched it dubbed. I didn't see it with subtitles. Big sin, I know, but it's how I came across it. And she always just sounded too cheery and no emotion in the whole situation. It's like, oh, so you time travel? Oh, good for you. The more she went back to her, it just didn't connect with me. And she's forever time traveling. It's like, then you get the question of, well, have you ever thought that while you're time traveling, someone else might be going through pain, and you kind of get a feel for it, but you don't. And I was just like, there are some parts it's like, okay. And I just felt like, especially by the end of explaining how time travel came about, you're like, is that it? Now, it's got some good ratings, so I was really excited by it and felt nothing. The second one is Time Trap, which you can find on Netflix. It had potential and it just wasted it. It's all about these groups. It starts off with a teacher going into a cave. He's talking to his students and he's talking about time travel. Right? No, he's going to a cave to look for some people who vanished in this cave. This teacher is played by Luke and Owen Wilson's brother. I didn't even know there was a third Wilson.
That was literally about to be my question. There's a third Wilson?
There's a third Wilson brother. I had no clue this dude existed, and trust me, you can see why. I'm not saying he's a terrible actor. He's not even in the film that much. He vanishes. The students go to look for him. And it's this weird world where they go into the cave to look for him. And at one point, you actually see him come out of the cave, but the car he was in is completely, it's aged decades, right? Centuries, years. There's vine all over the car and everything, and it makes no sense. And then basically, long story short, is you realize that time travel happens within the cave. Time goes through. But then you've got cavemen who have been in there because the fountain of youth, basically in the cave is the fountain of youth. But the cave has also been protected.
Really shit.
The cave is being protected by different ports. So at one end of the cave, time is moving ultra slow. Then another end of the cave, you're seeing light go through. And it's not even days that are going by like that. It's meant to be years. But then you question this thing, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But there was a kid who was up there who was meant to be their their emergency guy, right? By the time he drops down the cave and dies, right? Don't worry, it's not that tragic. But by the time he does, he's still the same age. So you're like, but I've been looking at that for 10 seconds and you told me 15 years has passed, but he was gone for like all of 10 minutes and died. Like that, all of these stupid little parts don't make sense. Then it's like, but the teacher left, we didn't see him leave. Then if he did leave, why the frick did he go back in there? Like all of these little questions. So in essence, you look at what the film could have been, it's there. Then you see there were like Anglo-Saxons from the medieval wars who were bloody in this time. It was just like, you could have been good, but you were all kinds of terrible.
This sounds terrible.
It really was. It like, I was really like, oh, you know, I'm questioning. I'm like, it could be. And then I was just like, nah, sorry, you've lost me. This was bad. It had potential though, but it just flopped.
One I shall not be watching.
Yeah. I actually want you to watch it because I'd love to hear your interpretation. It's bad. Like the questions
I'm going to put a mad spin on it.
Bro, you know what it is? It's that I shouldn't have, but then it would be, oh my word, Nick, it's this totally awesome film about time travel in the cave. It wouldn't have made sense. But you know the same way you done a Civil War list? I would love to see your time trap list. That is why I would love to see it. And I would actually like to be like, okay, so you got those. I would like to add this one. It was ultimate fail potential.
You made the list.
Yeah.
Very good.
What was your worst?
Oh, I'm reluctant to put this on because I actually like this film. But I recognize that it is a tremendous piece of shit. But I really enjoy it. Childhood glasses, because I watched this when I was really young. And anyway, I like it. But fuck it, it's terrible, I know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Heroes in Time.
So I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I must have seen it, but I'm so blank with the Turtle movies, it's actually unreal.
Bro, it's fun. The same way as those old 90s Turtle movies. None of them are good. Like, none.
Yeah.
Men in bodysuits. To be fair, they still look better than that fucking piece of shit we got from Bay & Co. I'm not even lying. Those are to Kylian Mbappe than a fucking Ninja Turtle. It's true, though, isn't it?
You're not wrong. You know when people laugh instead of going, ooh, it's always like, yeah, you're right, but I shouldn't. It's bad, but it's true. Yeah. People are like, Mbappe looks like the Turtles. It's like, no, fuck that. Mbappe was a real thing. The Turtles were made to look like Mbappe. Poor guy. Yeah.
Look, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 as a kid gave me everything I wanted. It gave me, first off, more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was a good thing because I'm a massive fan of that. It gave me feudal Japan, which, if you've been on the podcast a while, you know I'm a sucker for Japanese history. You know, this is literally set in the Shogun Age, in the Shogunate, in the Samurai Age. It's like, okay, so we've got Ninja Turtles fighting a samurai. 2 thumbs way up from this guy right here. We've got a cheesy villain as you can have. And of course, he's British. Wonderful. Don't even know the actor's name. I want to say it's definitely not. I was about to say Jason Isaac. It's definitely not Jason Isaac. He would be way too young at this point. It's terrible, though. And so what happens is April O'Neil brings the Turtles this, what looks like a kind of light scepter. Turns out it's a fucking time machine. Who knew? There's no explanation to the time travel. It just is, because this is the world we live in. And the 4 turtles get sent back in time, and in their place are 4 samurai that get sent forward in time. And like in Japanese culture, there's a thing called a kappa, which is like a warrior demon. So when the turtles travel back, everyone thinks that they're kappa. So the villagers who are fighting the Shogun Emperor think the kappa have come there to save them. And it's like, okay, I'm in. Raphael finds
Stuart Wilson, who was the villain.
Huh?
Stuart Wilson, I believe that's the English actor you're looking for.
If that's what IMDb says, let's go with that.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you.
Fine by me. Look, Elias Koteas is back as Casey Jones. They go back to find April O'Neil. That's why they won't travel back in time. April O'Neil gets sucked in, then they go in and follow her. Michelangelo is still roaring fun. They don't play on the Leonardo-Raphael feud again, which is really refreshing. There's a bit of passive-aggressive tension between them, which, just as a kind of tip of the hat, which is nice. But mostly it's actually, if anything, it's about Raphael finding his soft side, because there's this little samurai kid who he becomes kind of close friends with called Yoshi. Hey, Yoshi! Hey, Yoshi, man, come over here. People need to fucking take a hint and realize I ain't fucking answering the phone now, goddammit.
It's Rushmore time, baby.
It's Rushmore time, bitches. But yeah, it's top to bottom. The movie is terrible. The sets are bad. But you know what? Like all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies from the 90s, it embraces the fact that it's a B movie. It owns it. It doesn't try to pretend it's something else. It's that I'm a B movie about time travel with the Ninja Turtles. And you know what? This dickhead liked it. I can keep hanging up all day long, Maggie. Keep calling. I don't care.
I'm going to ask a question, though, just for potential redemption, not that the image will pop up for the YouTube viewers. Would you put it down as better than Time Cop? Does Time Cop warrant being the worst? For your defense and love for the film, I'm just wondering. I know there's probably no hate for Time Cop either, but I'm just thinking that...
It's worse than Time Cop.
Okay. Good to know.
But I would like the record to show Time Cop is shit.
Fair play. Cool. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so then now we are in the world of numero unos.
Venga.
Okay, it had to be. Well, it didn't have to be because it's part of that trilogy, though. And we are talking, for me, Back to the Future Part 2.
So, tricky one here. My number one is Back to the Future Part 1.
Have you done? Did you do all three? You done first two, didn't you?
Yeah, haven't done 3 yet.
Yeah, I'm not missing much. Do you know what it is? Especially with Back to the Future, especially 1 and 2. It's like if you had to separate Endgame and Infinity War, is it? It's like,
carry on, please, while I tell this person to fuck off.
Right. It's all part of one film. We are talking of the Marty McFly, the Doc, time travel. It's just a matter of Doc Brown has created a time machine. Sorry, Nico's mouth made me stop. I thought he was talking to me there. But yeah, it's time travel. And it's just this fantastic journey of, again, the rules of time travel have essentially been set by Back to the Future. Everything that you would ever want in Back to the Future, anything to talk about the actual elements of time travel are all within those first 2 films. Everything. Don't talk to yourself. This is what happens here. What would you do? What could you do? Should you buy the sports almanac and put bets back in the past?
Yes, you should. Yes, you should.
Of course you do. And then what happens when it goes into the hands of the bully? And then when you try to retrieve it back, it's got ooh la la. Like everything about. I am quoting Back to the Future Part 2 more. But the thing of meeting your parents, how you can save your parents, how you can make your parents meet together. You interfering might divert you actually even being born. All of the questions and theories of time travel are found within these films. And they're great fun on top of that. So as much as it makes you question time travel,
Fuck questioning time travel. If you're going to question time travel, don't get into time travel. The very concept of time travel is question worthy. Don't go into it going fucking granular. Oh, but this detail, fuck off. This detail, that person, and that threat. Fuck off. It's a time travel thing. Just enjoy it. Go along for the ride. Don't try and turn into fucking Sheldon Cooper on time travel.
Indeed, I
think 1 is better.
Most people probably would. And I think, did you watch them in order? Yeah.
I watched 1, then 2, yeah.
Yeah, I believe I saw 2 first, and I think that's what made it.
That would do it, then, I guess.
That would capture anyone more, I believe, like whichever one you see first in those 2 films. But also, I believe there was just something about the future that was always fascinating to me. But it was do you know what it was? It was the 80s future. Do you know what I mean? We don't. The date Back to the Future day is long gone. But we don't live that way. But it was so 80s-esque. You know, you walk into that diner and it just had that feel. It was cool. It was just all kinds of cool.
Great. It is raining. London's gonna cool down. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to it to come to this part of my town. It hasn't as yet, but yeah, it's just a great adventure found in both of those.
It really is. It really, really is. It's so charming. It's so inherently charming and fun. It puts the FUN in fun. It just does all the fun. That's what I mean by that statement. And I prefer the first one because it was less big scale. You know, it wasn't so like time-bendingly outrageous like the second one was. I like the first one. It's simplistic, family value-driven storytelling. Go back in time. Your mum's going to try and make out with you. Run. Your dad, you're going to realize, is a bit of a bitch, and you need to help him get over that. Good values. Good values all around. I do have a slight issue with the ending, but anyway.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That would be me being granular. So I'm going to practice what I preach and shut the fuck up.
No,
I love Back to the Future. Love.
Indeed. Right.
Yo, whoa. Let me close. This is actually some heavy rain. Ooh. Carry on.
Right, welcome back, sir. Right. So it is now that time. Rushmore time. Now, we have the obvious. You see, here's something that's in my head. We've got Back to the Future, and I'm kind of guessing that is the world's natural winner.
Of course.
Then you tell me.
You could put Terminator 2 in there.
But this is what I was about to say.
Stare it out.
I could put Terminator 2 in there, but then you said that is what everyone was quoting for. Now,
this will be the clash of the two titans. I'd like you to be.
So here we go. This is it. I'm willing to accept Back to the Future over Back to the Future 2 or what have you, because I don't want to just play the ultimate sequel game. It's either the clash of the titans or the elimination of the titans.
I think my bedroom window is open, and I think my bed's just got soaked.
Right. Okay. Well, here we go, guys. While Nico's doing what he has to do to save the house, here are the films that we're talking about: Terminator 2. Back to the Future Part 2, and essentially these are my 1 and 2. That's me just being cheeky, but I will find his image shortly. And we're also talking Back to the Future Part 1. So these are the films that anytime you mention the word time travel, Back to the Future 1, 2, possibly even 3, and obviously the granddaddy that is Terminator 2. I call it the granddaddy because, well, people can debate if they enjoy Terminator, Back to the Future 1 or 2 more or something like that. Terminator 2 is the standout Terminator movie. It's just that film. So basically, the question that we're really asking everyone is, should they actually be in there? And we have the true battle of the ultimate. Again, we do the Highlander moment of there can be only one. Was that right? There can be only one? I'm sure it is. I would normally say there can only be one. There can be only one. I'm sure I've learned it. I've had to reprogram the brain.
You're right. I've basically thrown myself, and now you're throwing me with the whole. It was wrong.
Yeah. So I'm just in the end. Flip's sake. Yeah, there can be only one. Yeah, I've retrained the brain. Right. So I'm asking. Yes, we are trying to do the Highlander moment, so it's to find out which one the world really does agree with, or do we make the Rushmore that bit more challenging and eliminate both? Uneasy either way.
No. I'll listen always to the stuff about how, this topic minus this film, but when you've got two which you can't talk about time travel. Quintessential, diverse must see. That you cannot leave Terminator and Back to the Future off of a time travel Rushmore. That's like saying, who's your Rushmore of wrestlers and you don't put The Rock on? It's like
Rock, Hogan, or Cena. Just
Rock, Hogan, Cena. It's like those three are on every single time. You can't not do it.
Right. So here we go.
I'll be real. The other two are just there to make up the numbers. It's going to go down to these two. And that's fine.
I'm here to play an interesting game. I'm here to play an interesting game because there are two sides of this. There is obviously the Marvel fans and those who want to appreciate Endgame.
I'm thinking this too.
Even though it was my number 10, Bill and Ted was up there in the levels of time travel. Like it's another one of those names that get thrown in. Obviously, you've seen the Twitter. I have to naturally stay away. I don't know. How was it popular enough? To me, it's one of those.
Bill and Ted's getting fucked if it gets put on that list.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I am by
Looper
that.
did come up a bit, by the way.
Looper
did come up a bit, yeah.
Shit. So here we go. Okay, because I did look at that, and I'm still looking at the list. Because the other one, I'm thinking Donnie.
Groundhog Day.
I'm thinking Donnie.
Nah, no one brought it up. Donnie will get eaten on a list made up of the other three.
I really, again, this is where my ego for films don't want to see them get destroyed.
You've got three on there that are going to be absolute powerhouses. I still think it's going to come down to two, but Marvel.
So do I.
Marvel is going to chip away at the numbers and balance it out a bit. So I just want to
if Looper came up, I will hear that noise. Put it that way. If Looper came up, I will hear that noise.
For me, we've got our three big blockbusters. Fourth could be Looper. It could be Groundhog Day. I'm open. But that fourth is getting eaten. I just want you to be aware of that. The fourth we're about to put on will come in fourth.
Okay. If you completely believe Donnie will get crushed, let's go Looper. Just because Groundhog Day's done this before, and I believe this is it's as we also said as well, it's a different form of time travel. Like the rules are completely broken within Looper. So I'd be interested in having that diversity, because essentially that's what the podcast used to be about. We used to discuss it. We cared about you guys, but we didn't. We were like, so this and that is very different. So this is why we need this. This is how, if the aliens came down, now we're like, what will people vote about?
Now we got something way scarier than the aliens now. We got the Twitterverse.
I know, we've become appeasers, man. I don't believe it. We've lost our edge. But,
not to Chris Trengrove.
Good. And hopefully not to Andy, who I love, because Andy is proof that by interacting on Twitter, you can become a fan of the show. So, Fandango Groover, here's a shout out to you. Even though you correct me on Highlander and Die Hard. But yeah.
Anyway. He's going to be fucking angry with me that X-Men Days of Future Past didn't get on.
I nearly put it on the list, but then I was like, I don't want to double. I could have over comic booked it. Then I was like, do I want to even put Flashpoint? And I was like, Flashpoint is more of an alternate universe than time travel. Just leave that out. Like, there are so many different reasons behind it. Oh, okay. Bill and Ted, I'm sorry. I apologize to Bill and Ted because I do think they were kind of popular, but what have you. So. Right. Now, I'm just going to put one thing out there to you.
Talk to me.
And it's weird just because I just want it to be the ultimate clash. Where we all know Terminator 2 is that film in the Terminator franchise. Pick your Back to the Future movie, because 1 and 2 are...
Do you want to put them both on for fun?
I mean, to be fair, that destroys a number 4 getting killed.
It does. That's kind of why I'm thinking it, to be fucking cheeky.
Do you know what? Normally, this would never happen in Rushmore territory. Never.
Innit?
Never, ever would you say, Matrix 1 and 2. That could never happen anyway, but never. I think this is the only time it could ever happen.
But it's so fitting because there is so little dividing these movies. I'm just feeling proper fucking. It's a cop out, but it's a cheeky cop out.
But it eliminates an obliteration, which I'm all down for.
Yep.
I never ever thought this would have happened. I love it.
It's cheeky as fuck, eh? But I think we should do it.
I don't believe it. Okay. I do have a feeling though. I could be wrong. It didn't come up, so anyone you should have put your questions out before. I do reckon we may have a few where's Donnies, but I love it. I actually love this. Let's do it. Let's lock it in.
I'm such a troll this week.
Yeah, because you've made us appeasers, people. This is the price you pay.
Take them both.
Love it. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of time travel movies, in no particular order, is
Avengers Endgame.
Our second entry is
Terminator 2.
Our third entry is
Back to the Future Part 1.
Our final entry into the movie Mount Rushmore of time travel movies is
Back to the Future Part 2.
I think that's fucking great.
Guys. Normally, I say, so we, the Silver Screen Dudes, have the challenge of picking the 4 must-see time travel films. And oh boy, yes, we've had that challenge. But for you, guys, to quote Highlander, which cheekily enough should have also been in a time travel movie. How did I forget that till now?
Yeah, point.
Damn.
Shit.
Damn. But to quote Highlander, in a time when he could have made the list but didn't, there can be only one. And you guys have the challenge between Back to the Future Part 1 and 2, and those are separate votes, they're not the same votes, Terminator 2, and the Avengers Endgame. Enjoy. I mean, I'm not going to enjoy it next week. I do say that. I laugh now. Next week, I have a challenge. Next week, I have a challenge.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't even thought of that.
I didn't think of that, but it's cool. It's cool because what? I have love for all of those films, so that's cool. It will hurt me if one of them does get, if Back to the Future Part 2 just gets destroyed. No, obviously it's number 1. That will hurt, but hey, it's life. I'll live with it. Okay. Last week, our topic was
best movies where the world ends.
And our contenders were
This Is the End, Cabin in the Woods, Doctor Strangelove, and 12 Monkeys. And there is thunder outside. My God, the temperature has dropped.
Oh, wow.
We had 334 votes. Closer than I thought it would be, but there is a good winner here. Andy Hart at Fandango Groover said, haven't seen This Is the End, totally forgot Cabin in the Woods. Doctor Strangelove is far from my favorite Kubrick, so I voted 12 Monkeys. Don't know why I made Mancunian there, Andy. Oi, monkey!
But wasn't there a group called the Arctic Monkeys from up north? So you might, that could be.
Well, I'm just thinking of what's his face from the PG Tetley commercials. Oi, monkey!
Oh yeah.
Johnny Vegas.
Yeah. So, Andy, before we go going again further, try to avoid This Is the End. I regret watching it, but today this could be the turnaround. But anyway, let's go.
Justice is served. Francis Lalonde at Ballpark Frank said, Wing Attack Plan R for Romeo. I don't know this one.
No, that didn't even come up to me at all.
Okay. Anyway, Officer Jimmy at Dean 8-Bit shared a gif of Doctor Strangelove. Chris Trengrove put, will you guys give a nod to La Jetée on your pod? And I said, we will indeed. I mean, ... Tune in to find out. And he said, cool. I'll be curious to see why End of the World and Cabin in the Woods were included over others. I'm guessing you excluded solely post-apocalyptic films, yeah? Any others considered from my recommendation list? And I think that was about it. Yeah, I stopped the conversation there. Schrodinger's Cage, but probably not the best one, but I have a soft spot for Cabin in the Woods, indeed. It's completely bonkers when you watch it for the first time and its tone keeps shifting. Thank you. Yes, it is nuts. Lucano at Gunner Zero said, objectively, Doctor Strangelove is the better movie. but I like 12 Monkeys better. Finger on the Button put On the Beach. That is an old 1959 movie, which I really wanted to see and didn't get around to, so my apologies. Rob Barlow put, I don't think I ever laughed more than I did at This Is the End. Thank you. And 80sography put, Dr. Strangelove doesn't win this. I'm giving up on humanity again.
Okay. And that's the comments I've got to work with, yeah?
That's it.
Right. For the ego check, I'm going to hope the world fell in line with me. And I will go with This Is the End at number 4.
You give your ego a good stroke there, my friend, because you're spot on.
And the delay of watching this film continues. Right, okay.
13% voted for This Is the End. In at number 2?
Well,
Number 3, rather.
Cabin in the Woods.
Correct. Cabin in the Woods got 20%.
This is where it gets a bit more political. This is where it gets a lot tighter. Now, in my estimation, on a personal front, I had a lot of fun with Strangelove, but I would lean 12 Monkeys. But I know Dr. Strangelove is again.
You would lean 12 Monkeys over Dr. Strangelove,
bro.
Fair enough. We're all different, but that's
as I said, I need to go again. I had fun with it. It's a lot to take in. I always remember, as I said that from the time, it's a lot to take in, and I need to revisit. Whereas 12 Monkeys, you sit, you watch, you know, it is what it is, and that's my thing. Kubrick is a director I do have to, caution with. Just a personal choice. Excuse me. I'm going to go 12 Monkeys in second place.
Clean sweep. 12 Monkeys in second place, 30%. And number 1, Dr. Strangelove with 37%.
Tight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tighter than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much. Keep the votes coming in. Keep interacting in it. And guys, just literally one tweet over to Nico or info@silverscreendudes.com. Just anything that you guys want to do, any topic that would be there. We're up for it. But until such time, please do head on over to @MovieNT Rushmore. But more importantly, at Movie Polls for You. We love movies. Our good friend JT is the man who will be putting the quiz out there for everyone to vote for in terms of the time travel movies, which is Back to the Future Part 1 or Back to the Future Part 2, Terminator 2, and Endgame. God, it's going to be tight for me next week. But guys, do check out both those awesome Twitter pages. I'm going to leave it at Twitter because the Facebook and Instagram is not really worth mentioning at this current time. Just trying to work on the rejig of that. The thumbnails, actually. That's something I need to ask you. I need the thumbnails. That keeps the page rolling for a bit. And we will be bringing back more movie news on those Facebook and Instas as well. Nico, anything else you would like to highlight on the Silver Screen Dudes project, the enterprise that is SSD?
The enterprise, presumptuous. Silver Screen Dudes also host the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast. This is our weekly movie show. No, this is the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast. No! The Silver Screen Dudes also host the Ministry of Wrestling podcast. This is our weekly wrestling show where we talk everything news, gossip, predictions, spoilers. You like wrestling? We're talking about it. All promotions, WWE, AEW, NJPW, when it's on. Anyway, you like wrestling? We cover it. We are also doing gaming live streams again, 2 of which will be happening tonight. One between myself and AJ. It will be the Platinum for Wreckfest. That will be up on the YouTube channel. And the other will be with my brother-in-law because Fall Guys Season 5 has launched. Ow!
Oh!
You are welcome to do it.
I'm not promising anything. Time dependent. I've promised my nephew Black Widow, so we'll see. But yeah, why not? He may even play. There may be a rotation of players on that one. So
that's it.
Cool. That's good.
Now, let's go play Wreckfest.
That's the one, guys. So literally, we have finished one pod. This is how we are interacting with you guys. We've just finished one. We're gonna catch up on our phone calls, and then it will be Wreckfest time. So, guys, until the next time, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
I'm Nico Lero. Shout out to all of my Nicoholics. You guys are too sweet.
Okay, guys. See ya.